In the previous khutbah, we discussed few things, that Isra and Mairaj is the greatest signs of Allah and is a miracle which is given to Prophet Muhammad ﷺ because he traveled from Makkah to Jerusalem, which is a journey of 1 month, and then traveled back at the same night, and then he ascended towards the heavens. And the meaning of Isra refers to the journey from Makkah to Jerusalem and journey of ascension. He ascended from this earth to 7 heavens and back is called Mairaj. The date of this journey, we do not have any specific date according to a hadith, and this journey was not a dream, but it was a physical journey. And then it happened, or it started from Masjid Haram itself, and before the journey, Prophet Muhammad had Shaqq al-Sadr. We spoke about it. And then from Makkah, Prophet traveled to Jerusalem, and he was traveling on a beast called as Buraq, a very fast animal whose speed was like lightning, and he was smaller than a mule and bigger than a donkey. And when Prophet ﷺ reached Bayt al-Maqdis, he led all the prophets. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala somehow had gathered all the prophets in Masjid al-Aqsa, and Prophet ﷺ led all the prophets in the prayer over there. And after that, Prophet ﷺ ascended towards heaven. According to some narrations, there was Buraq, and according to some narrations, there was no Buraq. But stronger is that Prophet ﷺ ascended from there. The Buraq was still in Bayt al-Maqdis, Jerusalem, and then Prophet ﷺ ascended from there to the heavens. In the first heaven, he met Adam alayhi salam. Second, he met Yahya and Isa alayhi salam. On third heaven, he met Joseph alayhi salam. Fourth heaven, he met Idris alayhi salam. In Bible, he is called Enoch. On fifth heaven, he met Harun alayhi salam, brother of Moses. Sixth heaven, he met Moses alayhi salam. And then Moses alayhi salam told him that when you will go back, just have a conversation with me, or let me know what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has gifted you. Seventh heaven, he met Ibrahim alayhi salam. Ibrahim alayhi salam was sitting with his back leaned on Baytul Mamur. And we spoke that Baytul Mamur is the house of Allah, similar to Kaaba we have over here, which is located exactly above this Kaaba, what we have in this world, and it is on 7th heaven. Baytul Mamur is on 7th heaven. Then Prophet ﷺ had conversation about the day of judgment with Prophet Isa, Musa, and Ibrahim alayhi salam. And then he also met Malik, the gatekeeper of hell. And from there, Prophet ﷺ ascended to Sidrat-ul-Muntaha. This is from where we'll start today. So Prophet ﷺ says that after that, I ascended to Sidrat-ul-Muntaha. What is Sidrat-ul-Muntaha? As the word says, Muntaha, Intaha. Like, this is the boundary of the 7th heaven. Nothing goes above that. And nobody can pass it. Only the person who has divine invitation is allowed to pass that point, because nobody has beyond that point, so nobody has seen what is in there. Everything which ascends from the earth stops over there at Sidrat-ul-Muntaha, and any amr Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has, any decision Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made for this world or for the universe as a whole, starts from there. It comes down from there. And only Prophet Muhammad is the one who has been beyond that. The description of the tree, it was very interesting when I was reading about it. There are different narrations, so I'll just skip what narration is what, but just to say that the narration says that none of the creation of Allah could describe its beauty. And then the trunk, the tree is so big that the trunk of the tree starts from the 6th heaven, and then it goes up to the 7th heaven, up to the boundary. And then, so basically it is between 6th and 7th heaven. And in some narration it says that it is covered in beautiful colors that none of the eyes have seen or can describe. And in some of the narration it says that it is covered with angels. And some of the narration it says that it is covered with beautiful butterflies with exotic colors made out of gold. See, it can be covered with all these things. It can be covered with one, or it can be covered with all these things. And in some narration it says that tree kept on changing and none can describe how beautiful it is. So basically it's an ever-changing tree. It also had fruits. So Prophet ﷺ said that the fruits, he didn't say what the fruits looks like. Of course, nobody can describe that. So he says the size of the fruits was as big as the water jars, the pitchers of Hajar. Hajar is a place near Medina. So this is how big they are, Bukhari. And in Bukhari it says its leaves are like the big ears of the elephants. Then at the base of Sidrat-ul-Muntaha, there ran 4 rivers. 2 are the rivers of Jannah, that is Al-Kawthar and Salsabil. And 2 rivers are for this world, that is Nile and Furat, Euphrates. This is how they call it in English. So the 2 hidden rivers, of course, they are in Jannah, and 2 rivers which Prophet ﷺ saw, visible rivers were Nile and Euphrates or Furat. Then over there, Prophet ﷺ saw Jibreel alayhi salam in his original form. See, he describes that his size was so big that he covered the whole horizon. Like when he saw him, he covered the whole horizon. And usually, the angels Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had made would have 2, 3, 4, 6 wings. But Jibreel alayhi salam had 600 wings. And then out of his wings, pearls and corals were dripping. Then Prophet ﷺ passed Sidrat-ul-Muntaha and he spoke with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is mutual consensus among the major scholars of Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah. When I say Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah, then Hanafi, Shafi'is, Barelvis, and what's it called? Hanbalis, and everybody is included in that. So it is major scholars, they agree that Prophet ﷺ spoke to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, only 3 of the prophets, peace be upon them all, had the chance to speak. One was, of course, Adam. Second, Moses alayhi salam. And third was Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So there is another, discussion that did Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam saw Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, Ya Ikhwan Muslimin, there are 2 opinions. And the stronger opinion that is based on the narrations of Bukhari and Muslim, that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam did not see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And there is a riwayah, there is a narration which is said that Abu Dharr raziyallahu ta'ala anhu asked directly Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam that, did you or were you able to see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? So Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Noor. We cannot see him. And another narration, it describes it that Noor, there is a veil of Noor which is covering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If that veil will go off, or if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will take that veil out, then the rays coming out from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would burn everything, or would destroy everything. So nobody can see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. However, with these eyes we cannot. And by the way, Ikhwan Muslimin, we need to understand that not all the angels have seen Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as well. And we don't know about, but we know that not all the angels, or not every angel has seen Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then, over there, Prophet ﷺ spoke to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him 3 gifts. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him the 2 ayahs, the last 2 ayahs of Surah Baqarah, Amanna Rasulu bima unzila ilayhi, from there, 285 to 86. And there are a lot of virtues about that ayah, and one of the virtues is that before we go to sleep, we must recite those ayahs. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam that any of the person of your ummah, if he would die without committing shirk, so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make him enter Jannah after completing his punishment. And I don't think it's a pass to Jannah. It's not like that. After completing its punishment. And then another gift was the 5 salah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, how it happened, how it became 5, when in the beginning Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had made for 50 salah. So when Prophet ﷺ was going down, he met Moses. Moses had said, please talk to me before you go down. So Moses asked him, so what happened? What have you been ordered? What gift you have been given? So he said, I've been asked to have 50 salah in the whole day. So Moses alayhi salam, he said, you see, I have been ordered, I had the same thing. Oh, sorry, let me rephrase. So Moses alayhi salam said, it is too much. I had people, I've been trying with them, and I know that 50 is too much. So go back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and ask for reduction. Ask to lessen the burden. So Prophet ﷺ said that I went back, and in some narration it says 10, in some narration it says 5, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reduced 10 or 5 prayers. Came back, so spoke to Moses again. Moses repeated the same thing. Said, no, still too much. Back. And see, he was so nice, he again turned back. So he went back again. So this is how it went, unless the salah came up to 5. And when it was 5, and he came down and again spoke to Moses, Moses still said it is too much. Well, he knew us better than us actually. He said, still it's too much, go back and ask. But Prophet ﷺ said, no, that's it. Now I feel ashamed to go back and ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I am satisfied now. What Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, I am satisfied now. So while he was leaving, there was voice from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala which says that I have passed my order and have lessened the burden of my worshippers. However, whoever would pray 5 times, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would still give the reward of 50 salah. This is still the reward. So, Ikhwan Muslimin, we must understand over here the importance of salah. That see, the king of the kings, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asked Prophet ﷺ to come, meet him, and gave this gift personally. So wallahi, take it. Yani, everybody says that, and I'm going to repeat the same thing because it has been said enough times. Any problem in your life, any problem, any problem in your life, turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and pray. Do the salah. This is the mean which gets us closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the best time to pray, to perform the nafil, to perform the voluntary prayer is tahajjud. Wallahi, wake up tahajjud time, pray 2 rakahs, put your hands together and ask for whatever you want. Whatever trouble you have in life, whatever problem you have in your life, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is able to change this, is able to get you out of it. And then Prophet ﷺ says that while I was there, I smelled a beautiful fragrance. A beautiful fragrance came to me and I asked Jibreel that what is it? So Jibreel said that this is the fragrance of the hairdresser of Pharaoh's daughter and her children. So Prophet ﷺ asked, what is the story? So Jibreel said that there was a hairdresser who used to comb the hair of this daughter and other children of the Pharaoh. And once she was doing that, so it was a comb made up of iron, it fell down from her hand. And she said, Bismillah. So this daughter became a little concerned and she said, you mean my father, Pharaoh? She said, no, I mean Allah, your and my Lord. So the daughter said, I'm going to tell my father about it. She said, go ahead, why not? So when Pharaoh was told about it, Pharaoh called her and asked her, did you say this? She said, yes. So Pharaoh said, either you take your words back or I am going to boil you and your children alive in the burning oil. She said, no. And then she said that my and your Lord is Allah only. So they took her words back. So what Pharaoh did, that he ordered a large pot made up of copper be heated up. In some of the narration it says the pot was so large that a cow could fit in there. It was so large. So at this point, or maybe before that, the lady requested that when we are dead, so please, all of our bones, of my bones and my children's bone, gather them and bury them together at one spot. Pharaoh said, okay, done. So all of his children were put into that oil in front of her eyes. Only because she said, my Rabb is Allah. Subhanallah. Yani this is one of the so important things. Yani this is one of the so important knowledges we must have to learn about it. Anyhow, so she also had one child, which was an infant, breastfeeding. So when it came to that infant, she was a little hesitant. Natural, mother. And at that point, the child spoke in the lap of her mother, or his mother. He said, oh mother, go ahead, for the punishment of this world is easier to bear than the punishment of the hereafter. Allahu Akbar. Wallahi, this line, this sentence, that the punishment of this world is easier to bear than the punishment of the hereafter. Anyway, so this is what she did. She threw the child, or the child was also thrown, and then she was also thrown. So this beautiful fragrance was hers and her children, which is there on the heavens, Prophet Muhammad smiled. And then, according to one of the narration, there were only 4 infants who spoke. 4 infants. One was, of course, Isa ibn Maryam, alayhi salam. Then, in the story of Juraj, and then the witness of Yusuf, alayhi salam, and this, the son of this hairdresser of the Pharaoh's daughter. Then on the way down, Prophet Muhammad was shown paradise and hell. So Ikhwan Muslimin, that means paradise and hell are not imaginary places. They are real places. They are the creations. These 2 places are the creations of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they still exist. It's still there. Did Prophet enter Jannah? Because the narration says, Prophet says, I saw paradise. It does not say I entered paradise. So Prophet ﷺ was shown the paradise, he saw the houses, he saw the trees, he saw the soil and stuff like that. And then Prophet ﷺ was shown the punishments of the hell, of the Jahannam. So some of the punishments mentioned that people who stole the money of the orphans. The Prophet ﷺ says that they have the noses like of camels. And they were eating the coals made up of fire. They would eat that and the coal would come out of their back passage. And they would again do the same thing. So it was going on for the people who steals the money of the orphans. And then people who backbites. Well, this is the best pastime nowadays for some of the people. So for the backbiting, Prophet ﷺ says that they had the nail of copper. And they were scratching their faces and body with that. And once it scratched, Prophet ﷺ said that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would make their body again back to normal, and again they will do the same thing for backbiting. Then he was shown the people who committed zina, indulged in haram relationship, whereas Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made relationship halal for us. Ikhwan Muslimin, I would like to stop here for a minute, and I would like to remind all those people who have young children, wallahi, listen, this is important to understand that the rizq is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yani we don't get our children married saying they are not earning enough, and this is the problem, and that, and in these things, that child gets indulged into haram relationship. Don't forget, if this happens because of you and me as parents, we will be blamed on the day of judgment. Yani when I came into this world, I knew that how I'm going to be fed, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made arrangements for me, you, everybody who is born in this world. So please, it's a request to all of the people who have children at home, who are at the age of marriage, please go ahead, get them married. Wallahi, it's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who feeds everyone. So think it in this way, because if they get indulged in haram, so Prophet ﷺ says, those people, they had two kind of meats. One was fresh, one was rotten, infested. So they were eating the rotten and infested meat and were not eating the fresh meat. And this was because they were indulged in haram relationship in this world. And then Prophet ﷺ was shown the punishment of the people who gets their money from interest, from riba. So Prophet ﷺ said that their bellies were big, huge bellies they had, and the bellies were so huge that they were not able to stand up. And then the animals were brought, and animals would trample over them. Like this as a punishment, the animals would trample over them, they would die, or maybe they would go in extreme pain, and then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would make them again the same way they are. And again it would happen. And then one more, which is mentioned in that about the people who ask others to do the good deeds, but they forget themselves. So Prophet ﷺ said that they were cutting their lips and their tongues with the scissors made up of copper and fire. Ooh, Allah, I'm standing here, I'm feeling more scared than anybody of you probably. So this is how important it is, that when we advise good to others and we don't do it ourselves. Oof, it is still, let me go ahead. So, and then Prophet ﷺ was shown Dajjal. So Prophet ﷺ was shown Dajjal. So Ikhwan Muslimin, that means Dajjal is also a real figure. It's not some imaginary figure, as people say, that is Dajjal and this is Dajjal and television is Dajjal and theater. No, Dajjal is a real person who is going to appear. So anyway, Prophet ﷺ said that I saw Dajjal, and I'll tell you something about him. His left eye is like, he is one-eyed. Very first thing Prophet ﷺ said that he is one-eyed and your Lord is not one-eyed. And then he described, I'll just tell you the description from the different narrations. Prophet ﷺ said that he's a young man, well-built. In some of the narration it says tall, in some of the narration it says short. But anyway, he's a well-built man with ruddy complexion, short, thick curly hair, a wide forehead, and he is blind in the right eye. And this eye looks like a floating grape, like the eye is bulging out maybe. And his left eye will be covered with a thick piece of flesh growing at the edges of his eye. He will have the left eye, but it will be covered with a kind of flesh. And then on his forehead will be written Kafara, Kafara. And it would be only those Muslims or only those people would be able to read it who would be the Muslims or the Mu'mins of that time, who would be the believers of that time. And regardless if they are literate or not. His chest would be wider, wider chest, and he would be hunchback. The people who have this back thing, like the hunchback thing, he would be hunchback, and he will be sterile with no children born to him. He wouldn't have any children. However, after this, Prophet ﷺ came back to Jerusalem. This is what he was shown. When he came to Jerusalem, he rode back on his buraq, and went back to Makkah. So while he was going back to Makkah, Prophet ﷺ, these are some of the weak narrations, but scholars say it's okay to tell about it. So while Prophet ﷺ was traveling from Jerusalem to Makkah, Baitul Maqdis to Makkah, he saw 3 caravans of the Quraysh who were going to Makkah. And then Prophet ﷺ said that then I reached Haram, from where the journey started, and I slept. When in the morning Prophet ﷺ woke up, now he was very anxious. He has anxiety that how I'm going to tell people about it. It's very natural. Anyway, so Prophet ﷺ says that I was sitting in Kaaba and Abu Jahl, the most worst person, Abu Jahl passed from there. And he looked at me and he said, what happened to you? Are you okay? He was being sarcastic, and Prophet ﷺ said, yes, something happened. He said, what? And Prophet ﷺ said that I went to Jerusalem last night and came back. And Abu Jahl got confused. He was like, what should I do? Should I mock him? Should I make fun of him? Or what should I do? He said, are you saying that you were in Jerusalem last night and now you're waking up here with us? He said, yes. So Abu Jahl said, you know what? See, I'm going to call all the people now from the Quraysh. Are you going to tell them the same thing? He said, yes. He said, promise, right? You're not going to change your words. He said, no. So he started taking names of the Quraysh, the leaders of the Quraysh, and they all came in. And Abu Jahl said, okay, fine, please tell them what you just promised me. So Prophet ﷺ told them this, all of the people. Now imagine Prophet ﷺ is telling all of these people who already used to make fun of him. And when Prophet ﷺ were telling them all these things, they reacted differently. Some of the people, like when they laugh, and hand on their hand and they laugh, and some people were, grabbing their head, that what this guy is saying. And some of the people were smirking and laughing. And then people said, okay, fine, you think you're very smart. Describe us how the Baitul Maqdis looks like. Now, Prophet ﷺ described whatever he remembered. And then people started, those people who had been to Baitul Maqdis, they started asking about the specific details. Prophet ﷺ said, now I got confused. Because of course, you cannot remember the details. Even if I've been in this masjid for so long, but if somebody would ask me where is so-and-so window and so-and-so this and that, I may get confused. We all of can. So Prophet ﷺ says, when it came to this, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala rose Baitul Maqdis in front of me. I could see the Baitul Maqdis in front of me, and then I answered all the questions they asked me. And then when this happened, then the guy said, that what he's saying is right. So they had no objection about it. And then Prophet ﷺ also told them about the caravans he saw when he was coming from Jerusalem to Makkah. And he told them, caravan is so and so and so and so camel, and this happened. So at this time, Abu Jahl said, if you are saying that the place where you saw the caravans, that they should be entering Makkah at any time. Prophet ﷺ said, yes. And by the time they were having this conversation, those caravans entered Makkah. And now they were all had no question or objections whatsoever about what Prophet ﷺ said. Wallahi, but still those people did not revert to Islam. Still those people did not had enough iman, or I would say enough confidence to believe in what Prophet ﷺ had been telling them, or to believe in Prophet ﷺ as the Rasul of Allah. And then the last thing, some of the people said, well, this is the good time to approach Abu Bakr radiallahu ta'ala anhu, and tell him that, see what your friend is saying. He is insane, na'udhu billah. So some people, one of the person, he went to Abu Bakr and said, Abu Bakr radiallahu ta'ala anhu, what your friend is saying now? He said, what? He said, your friend is saying that he went to Jerusalem and came back in one night. And it is the journey of 2 months. Don't you think this is something insane? This is something not right? Subhanallah. What Abu Bakr said? Abu Bakr said, of course not. If he is saying it's definitely right. And this is the reason he is called As-Siddiq. And he said, why you think? He said, because I believe that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sends upon him revelation, the Quran, from the 7th heaven. So if Allah has called him to 7th heaven, that's not a big deal. So if an angel can come to him, then he can also go there. That's not a big deal. So Ikhwan Muslimin, there is a lot which can be said about, and there's a lot which we can learn from this journey. However, I'll stop there because again, we are almost there. The time is up. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes us from the people who understand, who reads the seerah of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes us from the people who try to learn from the seerah and who try to learn about what Islam is all about. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes us from the people that worship Him alone, inshallah. Whatever is good is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and if there is a mistake, that is because of my weakness. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgives me.